fine, and on the gun case, you're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you. I see that you have two different lawyers on each of your cases.
So the one I have is Attorney Farr.
Okay. I have here a Budwani is on your DWI. Is that right? It's done in there. I need you to fix something for me.
Yes, Judge.
On the bottom of page 11, it looks like that attorney was entered in an error. It should be Michael Pham and not. Yeah, please, thanks. All right, please.
On September 26, 2024, law enforcement officers were dispatched to a major crash in Harris County, Texas. The officer made contact with the defendant driver and the sole occupant of the vehicle. The officer observed a key fob in the vehicle, push button start. The vehicle's two front wheels dislodged and minor damage to the front bumper. The officer observed skid marks from the west side barrier leading to the defendant's car. The officer observed slurred speech, bloodshot, watery eyes, a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage, stumbling, and the use of vehicle as support. The defendant stated that he consumed 1 to 2 beers and was coming home from work as a bartender and had a pistol in either the center console or the driver's side door. The officer observed a loaded pistol in a soft case holster on the driver's side floor. Standard field sobriety tests were administered, and the officers observed 6 out of 6 signs for the HGN test. And walk and turn and one leg stand were not performed due to safety concerns. The defendant read the DIC to the defendant, or the defendant was read his DIC and refused a breath test. A blood search warrant was obtained and executed, and the defendant was identified with his Texas driver's license.
Okay. Can you tell me if there are any prior DWIs?
No, sir.
Okay. Mr. Lemus, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm ordering you now as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're using alcohol, and I don't care what fashion, shape, weight, form, whatever it is, I'm going to put you in jail. You will not get any more PR bonds. You understand? Where do you work?
I work at the airport.
What do you,
I wasn't getting out of work. I went to a bar.
I don't want to talk about the case. I only want to talk about what you do. How old are you?
26.
Okay, so what do you do for a living?
Just work, go to school. That's it.
Okay, and how much money do you make a month?
On top of my head, I would say like 3-4 grand.
Okay, where do you go to school?
San Jacinto College.
Parents, or who do you live with? Parents? Okay, you need a lawyer to represent you. We're going to give you time to. Oh, that's right. You do have a lawyer. Sorry. Because you have a lawyer, I will waive your appearance. You don't have to waste your time coming to court, but you must stay in touch with Mr. Pham, and he will tell you when you have to come back to court. You're in school now. I'm assuming you're in college.
Yes, sir.
There's a lot of peer pressure in college. Be very, very careful. If you pick up a new DWI, you violate these conditions. I'm telling you, I'm not going to be understanding. I'm going to do everything in my power to protect the public. If I have to put you in jail and then you're going to end up failing, hey, you're on notice now. What's expected of you? Don't drink. If that means that you can't go to parties, don't go to parties, because the peer pressure is immense. I'm not going to be understanding.
I get it, Ron.
Good. All
I
right.
have a quick question.
Shoot.
Even though I have a license to carry a handgun, that does not while the case is open.
No dope, no alcohol, no weapons while the case is over. And as long as you can abide by these conditions, you and I will be fine. If I find that you become a danger, there's one place we put people that are like that. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I will have you go to Victoria, sign a reset. After that, you'll get with pre-trial for your bond conditions. And after that, we'll just have you waiting back for Mr. Pham to show up. Okay?
Sure.
Good luck, Mr. Lemus. Ma'am, you are charged with interference with the duties of a public servant. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you.
On September 26, 2024, at approximately 1:15 p.m., an officer responded to a call at the TSU Library Center located at 3100 Claiborne Street in Harris County, Texas, regarding a disturbance. The officer made contact with the individual causing the disturbance, and the defendant approached asking officers what's going on and what did she do. The officers repeatedly asked the defendant to step back, and she became belligerent, asserting that they were at her store. She eventually complied and moved away, but she insisted that a police supervisor be called to the scene. TSU Sergeant Barnett arrived and spoke privately with the defendant. Afterwards, responding officer requested the defendant's information to report her behavior to her supervisor in the university. The defendant refused to provide it and attempted to bypass the officer. When the officer asked her to identify herself again, the defendant declined and attempted to walk away. As the officer tried to detain her, she began to throw herself on the ground and yell, escalating the disturbance. Several officers issued verbal commands for her to comply. The defendant continued to resist, jumping around and asserting her rights. The officer attempted to escort her outside. The defendant then wrapped her arms and legs around a pole, continuing to yell. The officers physically pried her from the pole and detained her. Defendant used her body weight to resist and push against the officers. Defendant was then placed in the back of the patrol car without incident.
What was she doing wrong?
So it appears she wasn't the initial person causing the disturbance, but when they came to respond to the disturbance that they were called for, she intervened. And once they asked her to remove herself from the situation, she refused.
You didn't say, when you initially started saying about everything, you didn't say that she was the initial cause of the disturbance, that there was a call for a disturbance. They get out there and she, I guess.
So what it says is that they made contact with the individual that was causing the disturbance, and then the defendant approached asking.
See,
the
right.
officers.
So she just comes up, starts being nosy, right?
Right.
And then she basically, I guess, is trying to leave. And then they start asking her for her information.
Well, they were asking her to leave the scene so that they can respond to the disturbance, and she wouldn't comply. I think that's the issue, that she wouldn't leave when
Did
they asked her.
you say that?
Yes. They asked her to move away from the scene and she refused to comply.
Show me, will you read that part again?
So when she approached the officers repeatedly asked the defendant to step back, and the defendant became belligerent, asserting that they were at her store. She eventually complied and moved away, but
So she complies, she moves away,
right. But then she came back.
okay?
And so at that point, when she returned, they asked her to identify herself. She refused to provide her identification. And then at that point, when they asked her to identify herself, she attempted to bypass the officers.
She leaves, she's trying to leave.
She is attempting to, she's
She's leaving.
attempting to leave again.
And then they start bucking up to her.
Sure, yeah.
Judge, what is this case?
It's on for tomorrow's docket. Let me give you the cause number. 251-1137.
Sounds like an interference. So
That's what she's charged with. But so sounds like she's got a case of the nosies, you know? She goes up there allegedly being nosy, leaves, comes back, and then they start asking for her information. She declines to give her information.
So Judge, what I'm looking at here, just to add context to the situation, she approaches an unrelated incident, it looks like. She's
Correct.
asking what's going on. Fine. They talk to her individually. Okay. They tell her to leave. She continually asks what's going on. What did she do? She asserts, she becomes belligerent, is what the officer says, asserting that they were at her store, obstructing their investigation. Eventually, I don't know what the time frame is, but they say eventually she complies, moves away, but insisted that they need to call a supervisor to the area. A sergeant then spoke with her privately. After they responded and they requested her information to report her behavior to her supervisor at the university, and to identify her, which she refused to do. She then attempts to bypass officers. They ask her for identification again. They're detaining her. She says no.
But what's the interference? What did she specifically do?
Well,
She's just talking to them.
I understand,
Right.
Judge, she's talking to them, but she's saying that they're at her store. She's belligerent,
So?
telling them to leave. They're at her store. The position of the state judge is that did obstruct their investigation. I mean, it's not in this, there's multiple senses of obstruction in our opinion. It's not.
Are you losing right now? Okay. Yeah, I'm not buying it.
Okay.
I'm not gonna do it. All right, I'll find no probable cause.
I'll dismiss the case, Judge.
When you go up and you get into a pissing match with officers, who's gonna win? Who's gonna win? Every single time. If you go up and you mess with someone who has the power of arrest, you're going to lose every single time. Don't go. It's not hard. I found no probable cause in your case, ma'am. Just be careful. Okay?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
If I want to press charges, or
Don't. You know what? Let sleeping dogs lie. Don't.
they assaulted me, though. They knocked out my tooth, they chipped my tooth, I got bruises on me.
And you can always go file a complaint with internal affairs,
That's what I'm
with
asking.
whatever.
How could I do that? I don't know the protocols.
So what agency was this? Is this, did you say it was at a college or? So you go to the Texas Southern University Police, you go to internal affairs and you can file a complaint that way. Okay, I would take everything that you have and that's how you do that. Okay, but just be careful.
And I can't even go back to my job because they're trying to ban me.
I don't know. I mean, did they issue some kind of trespass warning?
No, sir.
If there's a trespass warning, be careful. I don't see that one has been filed. They haven't told me about any kind of trespass or anything, so just be careful, okay? But I found no probable cause. They're going to dismiss your case, okay? Just be careful in the future, all right, man? Okay, please. Good luck, okay, Miss?
So. Okay.
Okay, so Mr. Shell, you were charged with assault of a family member. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. You guys have worked out an agreement where they're offering you 3 days in jail, credit for the 1 day that you've done. You need to understand that this charge will go on your record. It will be there for the rest of your life. This also comes with an affirmative finding of family violence. What that means is that you can never own a gun or ammunition as a result of this plea bargain agreement as well. If you pick up a gun, you are in possession of a gun or any kind of ammunition, that in and of itself is a Class A misdemeanor and an arrestable offense. Do you understand?
Sorry, Your Honor.
You give up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you are not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. You give up the right to appeal. So once you accept this agreement, you can never change this or undo this. Is this what you want to do?
Sorry, Your Honor.
How do you plead to the offense, or guilty or not guilty? I will find you guilty. I will send you to the agreement. It looks like you were also enhanced with your delivery of marijuana case out of the 177th out of 2004. Because of this agreement, now we will have to abandon the enhancement. You know, if you come to court, good things happen. We expect you to come to court, and when you don't, there are very serious consequences. You now will see. You now, all you're doing is racking up convictions on your record. All it's going to do is hurt you even more and more. Had you come to court, you probably would have gotten a great result. All you have to do is show up, and when you do that, good things happen. I hope that this is a lesson and that you learn from now on, when you pick up a case, just show up. You understand?
Sir, Your Honor.
All right, good luck. You need to talk with your lawyer and look at the evidence and figure out what you want to do. The next time you come here next week, you must either accept the plea bargain offer from the state, or I will immediately set your case for trial. You get no more time. This case is 1,400 days old. You're out of time. Do you understand?
Sir, Your Honor.
Pick a day next week. You must be here and be ready.
Can we do it by Zoom, y'all? If
No.
we sign the plea agreement today, can we do it by Zoom?
We need him here to thumbprint, sign documents. We don't do pleas via Zoom. Where do you live?
Okay, that's true.
Where do you live?
Dallas.
Okay, you can do it today, or you can come back next week, whatever you want to do. But I'm not, it's 1,400 days old. I'm not giving you. Okay, all right.
Isn't true, but they've been doing some weird stuff. So it wasn't even a valid reason to find no PC.
Well, I mean, you had it indicted, so
Yes, and
it is.
I will say that I'm not opposed to a PR bond in this case because he had been showing up to his felony. It took me a minute to indict it. And they've offered to dismiss the felony if he pleads to on the misdemeanor DWI. So we were going to get a TRAS set up today as well.
So you want to do, is it probation that you guys want?
I offered probation.
So you don't want just a straight like
I offered
time?
but only because I'll give them the option, but I think
Okay, whatever you guys want.
It's
I mean,
better.
if you're okay with a PR bond, then
And I'm just getting appointed today, so I'm just gonna reset it one time, review everything and speak with my client and then we'll see what we want.
what devices, if any, does he have now?
He doesn't have any devices now. Devices.
No.
Because it's a.
Mr. Alfred. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Yes, sir.
So you were charged with driving while intoxicated, second offense. The magistrate found no probable cause in your case. However, as you know, the state can still indict your case and still charge you with the same offense. And in fact, that's what they've done. So now you've been indicted with the offense of driving while intoxicated, second offense. So what that means is that probable cause has already been found by a grand jury of at least 9, if not at least 12 people that have found probable cause. I'm going to order you as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. I'm going to test you like crazy. If I find that you're using any kind of alcohol or illegal drugs, I will put you in jail. You will not get any more PR bonds. Do you understand? What do you do for a living?
Forklift.
You drive a forklift. Okay.
Doing work
How much money do you make a month?
about 2,000. 2,000 a month.
Okay. Do you have a Texas driver license?
No, I got my ID.
No, I didn't ask you if you had an ID.
No, I ain't got no Texas.
So how on earth are you driving a forklift then? I'm ordering you not to drive. You're not allowed to drive. That includes a forklift. You ain't got no driver's license, man. I'm only asking you to follow the law. I'm not asking you to split the atom here.
ID.
I show an eligible driver's license.
I ain't got no vehicle, but not nothing. Homeless.
Okay.
Do you have a Texas driver license?
I've been incarcerated about 13 or 14, 15 years. So I ain't get it.
But what have you been incarcerated for?
Shit.
They put a case on
Well,
me.
not shit. You've been incarcerated for something.
They put a robbery case on me.
They put a robbery case on you. Ay, ay,
Eligible to have a driver license, Judge. He's just never actually
Okay.
went and got a driver license.
Let's make a deal, okay? Your license is eligible. All you have to do is go to DPS and get one. When you do that, I'll allow you to drive. Okay? That means all you, that go to, I think it's 12230 South Gessner.
That's the big one. I know.
Yeah, that's the one that gets you.
Yeah, it's 1220 South Gessner. All you got to do is go there, tell them you lost your license, and they're going to give you another one.
What I can pull it up.
Don't drive.
I'm on the bus line. You see this bus line?
Here's the rub.
I'm on the bus line.
Okay. The other problem is this is a second offense, so I have to give you an interlock device. You are not allowed to drive any vehicle that doesn't have an interlock on it. If you're caught driving a vehicle that doesn't have the blow and go, they're going to arrest you and put you in jail. So you got to be careful. If you're ever in a car, it has to have an interlock. Because you're not driving a car now, we were going to give you a handheld device that you're going to take with you everywhere you go to prove to us you're not consuming alcohol.
I ain't no alcoholic.
Don't use illegal drugs.
No drugs.
We're going to test you. If you test positive, it's not going to go well.
We do that day in, day out.
Okay. We've given you a lawyer. It's your responsibility to stay in touch with Mr. Cleggett. He will tell you when you have to come back to court. If he tells us that you MIA, then we will revoke your bond. No more PR bonds. They've told you now, if you plead to the DWI, they're going to dismiss the felony. So it's up to you how you want to handle this, but at least you know that they've given you this offer at that time. Okay? Anything else, Allison?
Judge, what's gonna be solved, Judge?
1,500.
No objection, Judge.
Done. 1,500 bond amount, PR bond granted.
Yes.
For all his devices, for the portable and for his drug testing agencies. Mr. Alfred, I'm gonna waive your fees on everything. So money should never be an excuse for anything. All you have to do is get the portable device and show up to court. And if you can do that, good things will happen. And don't drive. That's it. All right? Okay, we'll have you come up, swear to this. You'll meet with pretrial and then you guys are free to go.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thanks, guys.